Hi, and welcome again to another edition of US pre-market analysis for today, October 2nd of 2025. Let me get started with the disclaimer so we can get that out of the way real quick. All right, the information, context, opinions which are expressed in the presentation and on the following slides are solely those of the presenter, not necessarily those of Vantage, and are solely used for educational purposes as they do not constitute investment advice and or consultation on how a client should trade, and Vantage does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information provided herein. I'm your host, Gio Benacourt, a senior market analyst, market educator, and demonstrator of strategies with Vantage, bringing within 20 years of experience as a commodity trader, and I hold a Series 3 license and a CMT candidate. The agenda: we're looking at the economic calendar, what's moving the markets, identifying key support levels of resistance and support, and trade with Fibonacci tools. About Vantage, our ecosystem offers over 1,000 instruments, over 100 chart patterns, over 100 technical and drawn tools. We offer CFDs on Forex, indices, shares, commodities, and cryptocurrencies. What we stand for: lightning fast execution, award-winning 24-hour support, intuitive tools, global connectivity, and strict regulation. Identifying clear, consistent trading habits is something that I'd like to recommend. Being comfortable with the prospect of losing money if the market goes against you. I like to emphasize risk management using a percentage wise. So, for example, on a trade, you're looking to risk 1% of your trading capital. If you have a $10,000 account, that'll be $100 per trade, or between 100 and 200. And if you have a risk-reward ratio of 1 to 3, meaning that you're looking to risk 100 to gain 300, and if you keep yourself to around 8 trades per day, you should be coming out in positive, in profit. Volatility can spike and spreads can widen, so reducing leverage is highly recommended. And you can do this by going to your client portal, selecting a trading account, selecting the account that you're going to be trading under, and then going to the little wheel, the settings wheel, and there you can change your leverage and also your password. The use of stop loss is highly recommended. You just never know when the market will whipsaw, will reverse, or do one of those weird movements that the market has tendencies of doing. Also, when you are building your trading plan, writing your trading plan, keep in mind things like identifying trends, timing the entry and exit points, risk management, and confirmation validation. All right, what is technical analysis? Well, I think it's important that we have a shared common vocabulary for what is technical analysis. So let's dive right in there. Is it just a form of data visualization? Obviously. Charts, charting, displaying market data in lots of different data visualization modes is a big part of where technical analysis came from. But you got to go back a couple of hundred years to the rice pits of Osaka, Japan, for a gentleman named Murohisa Homa, who was the inventor of the Japanese candlesticks, as a way to try to capture all of the behavior of traders in those rice pits. We've of course advanced their discipline over hundreds of years, and there are lots of different chart types. But I'm gonna argue to you now is that technical analysis is far more than just collecting data and displaying it in a way that we can interpret a lot of information quickly. That is part of it, but if you look at definitions from some of the very early texts from the 1920s, 1930s, that said that technical analysis is about the study of the market itself. All of that price action, all of the investor behavior, everything that is happening in an open, freely traded market is part of our discipline. And I love that definition because it is quite broad, and hopefully through today's session, you'll understand just how broad and the depth of study that you'll go through. We also know that technical analysis is the study of that supply and demand relationship that we care a lot about, the behavior and the psychology of investors, and it's one of the hardest things to quantify when you're thinking about investment decisions. I'll argue that is all represented in this beautiful little element called price, which we can call it also a systematic evaluation. And systems The reason I bring this quote up is that a lot of us have heard about algorithmic trading, high frequency. You might be an advanced programmer, you might know Python or R or many other languages, and that is an important way to express some of the ideas. But even if you're not a coder, you're not an algo trader, you should be thinking in terms of systems, a rules-based, repeatable approach. That's something that was drilled into me as I spent time surrounded by some of the best money managers in the business, and that is that they all have a defined, repeatable process or system that they follow no matter what the market is doing. All right, a quick refresher from your Economy 101 class. If you recall, at a fixed rate of supply, an increase in demand is going to move us up the price equilibrium, or a decrease in demand will move price down the equilibrium. So when we're thinking about an open freely traded market, demand, greed of investors is inherently pushing prices up, and fear or selling pressure is going to push price down because it's a fixed supply. Now, I want you to hold that thought in your mind because it is perhaps one of the most important parts of the magic that we're trying to unlock here, or the message of the market that we're trying to decode, which is related to learning that if you take emotion, there would be, there should be, or there could be out of your decision making, and if you look at what is just happening and you can quantify that, you have a big advantage over most human beings. I will argue for all of us in the investment discipline, there's a lot of emotion tied to those trading decisions that we make each and every day. And those emotional impacts on our decision making can be very negative. So the more you can remove your emotional and cognitive bias from your decision making, the better chance you have of staying on the right side of trends. Alrighty, I'm gonna now stop sharing my screen for a second and change that to my charts so we can start looking at the market and start looking for possibilities, trade possibilities, probabilities, as you said. Alrighty, so in front of us we have the daily candlestick chart of the Nasdaq, and we've seen how the market is in a rally mode. Yesterday we did had a little bit of fluctuation to the downside, but today we are continuously making a new all-time high. So we began the month really making all-time highs. Yesterday the high was 25,033, and the previous high was 25,026. So we're making an new all-time highs. This particular level that I have here, it most likely will be met once the market opens. So let's use the tools that we have at our disposal, and some of those tools are the. Let's take a look at the economic calendar real quick, because we today nothing, tomorrow we're not gonna get this data, non-farm payrolls or the unemployment rate. We're not gonna get it because of the government shutdown. So it is going to obviously put more uncertainty into what the Fed will do, because they want to have that data, but the Fed will not be affected by this because they're an independent agency. So that being said, let's take a look at, let's try to identify those levels of support and resistance. For resistance, I like to use the trend-based fib extension, and I'm going to measure the beginning of the month, right, from yesterday's swing low to the high that we're having so far today, and the low. So we use the Fibonacci values, and the golden proportion is the main one, the 0.38%, 0.3820%, it'll be 1, and then the 61, or the golden proportion, which is actually 0.618%, that'll be our second level of resistance, looking for the market to reach that level. Again, this is all new territory, so this is the best way for us to come in and try to understand or accept a momentum or a push to the downside. All right, so here we have our retracement tool that I need to obviously come in and just give it. Oh, wait a minute, I'm just gonna use actually my template, Geo's template. All right, there you go. Alrighty, so as far as we see, we're gonna come in and look at, all right, so this is no longer going because we have a new all-time high. So we're gonna just take that out. Now, as far as the support goes, the golden proportion is gonna be one level, and let's use the same levels that we had for resistance. So there we go. That's how I use the tools to identify my levels of support and resistance. Okay, now we have here the S&P, nice momentum to the upside in rally mode, make it again all new time highs. So that's what we're going to do. 7,000 for the S&P. Now the new level of 25,500 for the Nasdaq. So the momentum is to the upside. So we're looking to buy. We're looking for long entries on the indexes. Okay. Then we have here our level of support for. I'm going to use those values. So here we have our levels for the S&P, move to the upside. All right, so the Dow is the one that it did open up. Yesterday's fluctuation, it did penetrate it, or it violated our first level of resistance. It didn't do much of it. I mean, it did obviously quite broad, quite wide swings here, range. So I'm gonna leave yesterday's swing low as a possible level of support, and I'm gonna use 46,600 psychological level of support. So looking to move. Actually, this is quite low. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna use actually 46,500. Just use psychological levels. Let's see if that. So for the Dow, initially the sideways trading choppiness for the Dow, but we do see a strong momentum to the upside on the Nasdaq and the S&P. Crude oil making continuation, pushing lower as we speak. All right, so we did have a fluctuation to the upside earlier today during the London session. So $63 was rejected. I'm gonna leave the same level of support, the second level of support that I have here. It wasn't really violated nor broken. So $60 is the range where I'm contemplating, or I'm speculating that the market will come down to. $63 psychological value, and then just leave the previous level as where it is. So selling the energy, while selling crude oil. Nat Gas, continuation to the upside. Now profit taking now is taking place, but we do see a momentum to the upside. So 330 is going to be our first level of resistance, and then I'm just going to use 338 as my second level of resistance. As far as support goes, I'm gonna try to make sure okay, so the body of this candle, I'm gonna use just eyeballing the middle of that body as a possible level of support, and leaving the yesterday's level as is. So let's see. Still being bullish with Nat Gas. So selling crude oil, buying Nat Gas. Gold, 3,900 is basically right around the corner. So I'm gonna leave that there as is. And this particular value is the Fibonacci golden proportion that I used yesterday. So we're gonna use that. Actually, I'm gonna bring it down and just use 39.25. I think the market is obviously we've been in the overbought territory in this time frame since the middle of September. So continuing to push to the upside, it is where I believe the market is going to continue. 4,000 is right around the corner, so 4,000 by the end of the month. Why not? All right. Silver pushing higher as well. So our all-time high of silver is going to be 50.50. So let's use that as a long-term projection or target, if you will. $47 was rejected today as a swing low for silver, but I'm gonna actually just use as my first level of support this level, which is basically that swing low, and then I'm gonna use yesterday's swing low for my second one. Alrighty, so still looking strongly, looking to be bullish, to remain bullish on silver. Then we have copper here. So copper, $5 is right around the corner, also for copper. So hitting all-time highs all across the metal. Well, I mean, it would once it fluctuates above the $5 and change with all-time high. So would it make new all-time highs this month? Copper and silver, as gold is doing almost every single day. So that's what I'm speculating that will happen. I'm gonna use yesterday's swing low as my first level of support, and then just tying it up to 470 psychological value. So again, metals, being bullish on metals. Oh wow! So Bitcoin, nice momentum to the upside. So is it going to revisit its all-time high of right around 125,000? That could be the case for Mr. Bitcoin BTC. So 116,000 first level of support, and then I'm gonna use 114. Almost actually, it's gonna use yesterday's swing low. All right, here we have our levels. So looking to buy Bitcoin, looking to be long the metals, looking at the currencies. We are basically in range for the euro, with fluctuation to the upside being favored, as the dollar index may look to show us more depreciation. So that will give a boost to the currencies and metals. The pound also looking to sustain itself close to 135. So we're looking for momentum to the upside being built right now. We are profit taking. Yesterday with the market did fluctuate above 135. So let's just look for opportunities to enter long the market, as the dollar index is basically flattish as we speak in this time frame, but it has been in a continuation. It will be on its fifth day fluctuation to the downside. So $97 seems to be a level that traders are trying to sustain the dollar index above. But once we do fluctuate to the downside and we break that level, we should see a rally on the currencies and the metals. So right now, basically in balance for the dollar index, waiting for obviously more participation from sellers to push price down. We could probably see a reversal on this particular asset to push to the upside, but overall, long term we're looking for a dollar index to be pushing lower. And now that I have identified my levels of support and resistance, I'm going to break it down to 1 hour just to take a look at the momentum being built behind the market. And we've seen that momentum being built. So as if we were to open right now, we should be opening to the upside having the market open to the upside. We are in new territory, new all-time highs for the Nasdaq and for the S&P. So that momentum should spill over on the open. So look for momentum, look for entry longs, buying the indices, as we have strong momentum to the upside in these time frames. The same for the S&P, making new all-time highs. Yes, we could probably see a pullback, a short correction, profit taking will be in place, but that will just be short-lived, and then the rally will continue. We have the Dow now in this time frame recovering, trying to follow up its peers. So let's see if today the fluctuation will take it closer to that 47,000 milestone that it reached last month. Then we have crude oil. I've been speaking about crude oil, to be short crude oil. The energy market, obviously, there's a lot of supply being online for crude oil, and the OPEC Plus, OPEC talking about incrementing their supply. So looking for short positioning, looking to short crude oil, Nat Gas. Nat Gas is making that parabolic movement to the upside, being bullish for Nat Gas, and you want to stay bullish for Nat Gas since demand for Nat Gas is just going to be obviously incrementing in Europe. So yes, keep your eyes peeled on this asset, looking for fluctuations to the upside. Basically, this is profit taking. So keep that in mind. Yes, production is going to increment, but demand is always also going to increment. From one side, because of all of the AI, all of the data centers being talked about being built, so they're going to be demanding a lot of nat gas for that area industry. All right, gold. So we were looking at gold. 3900 yesterday was almost reached. So today that's the target for gold initially. So looking to enter market long, since we are in basically new territory again, all-time highs. We're about to visit that all-time high done yesterday, of shy of the 3900. So again, that will be something that we want to be looking into once we break it down to 5 minutes. But basically, momentum to the upside, buying gold, buying silver. Silver also is going to be demand for silver because of the AI and all the EVs and all of this is going to be just there. So it's holding to the upside. $50.50 is the all-time high for silver, and that was made back in 1997, I think, in 1990s. So we're climbing towards that 50 all-time high. When we will get there, sometime this month, I'm going to speculate. Yes, as gold, 4,000 this month will be reached. Now copper is giving us a little bit more of a bearish momentum, intraday momentum to the downside. So we could probably see an incrementing or more sellers joining this push lower. And if you look at this range right here, this is where I'm going to speculate that copper most likely will find, if it continues to drop, this is where we will find that support, and from here you could enter the market long doing a reversal. But overall, long term, being bullish with copper, and that all-time high for copper is about $5 as well. So $5 this month for copper. So here's the speculation for the metals for this month. The targets: copper at $5, revisiting that all-time high. Silver $50, revisiting that all-time high, and gold 4,000, hitting that milestone this month. So those are the our trajectory for the metals. Bitcoin, we need to obviously revisit that all-time high of 125,000 and change, but we are in a momentum to the upside, so being long the Bitcoin. The currencies, they're going to be fluctuating, having their fluctuation, but at all, I believe the euro is going to sustain itself around the 117 area for quite a couple of days. The pound has fluctuated to the downside, having pressure from the dollar index in reality, but the dollar index isn't going to be catching a bid. Actually, it most likely will also fluctuate to the downside as we progress through the day. Now that I've looked at the momentum of the market, I'm going to break it down to 5 minutes. And in this time frame, in 5 minutes, I turn on my VWAP and I turn on my fractals, because I like to use the fractals just to have an idea of where the fractal high, the last fractal high was, and the last fractal low was, because it gives me a range. Okay, it gives me a range. For example, from this fractal low to this fractal high, right, from this fractal low to this fractal high, I'm looking for the market obviously to come back and revisit that high. But as the market does progress to the downside and just fluctuates and makes a correction after hitting new all-time highs, well, we speculate that the market will come down towards this particular low, and from here rebound. Now look at where that is, 25,150 psychological values. So we will look for psychological values, right, to come in and take up our position in here. Now, when we talk about looking to enter the market, well, I like to take trades when the market is inside the VWAP. Once the market is penetrating the upper band, I enter a short position targeting the VWAP, which is the blue line, and the VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. So this price is where we see where market participants have been the most fluctuate or deal with. But obviously the market has ran and is outside of the VWAP in this time frame, so we will have to wait for the market to do what it does and just fluctuate back into it. Sometimes it won't do it. There's a strong volatility, so it'll just stay out. But that's basically what I use. So also for the S&P is outside the VWAP. We don't have anything here. For example, here we have the Dow inside the VWAP as we speak, while actually fluctuating outside the VWAP. That would have been a entry if I would have seen this earlier. Obviously looking to reverse of the VWAP. But right now the market is fluctuating outside of it. Another one that you could try when we see this, the Bollinger Bands, because they do obviously also give us a 2 standard deviation of volatility, and we have trade opportunities when the band is squeezed, a pinch. So the bands are pinched, but they are narrowed, and that'll mean that they will expand at any given moment. But right now, as we've seen in the Nasdaq, volatility is obviously decreasing, and I'm gonna wait to see if the market will come down towards the 20-day moving average or the medium of the Bollinger Band to enter position long, which is basically where the market had before found some resistance. So now turning into support. So as the market fluctuates lower, let's see when the market opens in about 2 minutes. Let's see if the market. I'm going to speculate that the market will pop, will just make a momentum to the upside, make a parabolic movement to the upside as momentum is being built, and the R side in this time frame is not overbought. So that's my speculation. What I'll see for the Nasdaq. The S&P 500 at this moment is also doing a little bit more of a push back into the medium. So this momentum will most likely take it, penetrate the medium into the lower band, and as the market opens, this will push lower. It's showing us that it's going to open to the downside, but we really are in the green because we are in all-time highs. So the Dow is the one that is showing us that more about downward momentum as we see. So I'm going to turn off the Bollinger Band here and see. Initially, we want the market to show us its range, its opening range, and that depends on traders. Some traders use 15 minutes, 30 minutes, some even say an hour. You want to wait an hour for that opening range. But in futures markets, the opening range is when all of the open interest has been met, or people having their orders waiting to be filled. And once that happens, then okay, we have the market opening. All right, so let's see. Parabolic movement to the upside on the Dow, and that continuation drop on the S&P. Okay, so the Nasdaq also is pushing lower. Again, like I said, initially we were speculating that will happen. Profit taking will happen. This push could probably bring the market into the VWAP towards that particular value that we spoke about. So I will want this candle to penetrate the upper band, and the next candle to open inside or below the upper band, and I'll enter the market short to target the VWAP. Okay, but again, this is the opening of the market, so we want to be able to see that the market has found its footing. Okay, as it continues to penetrate the VWAP. In this particular case, it has penetrated VWAP. It's pushing lower. Let's take a look at. Wow, that's a pretty wide swing on the Dow. Pretty wide swing. So let's see. All right, crude oil. It did fluctuate lower, but now it's recovering. Let's see how much more of a push to the upside are we gonna see here for crude oil. This could be just short-lived. It'll find some resistance here around 61.60 as it fluctuates to the upside, which is basically where the lower lower VWAP band stands. So here, rejection of that lower band is what I'm speculating the market will do, and as the market rejects that particular lower band, the next candle opening below this band, I'll be looking to enter the market short. All right, Nat Gas, momentum to the upside. So consolidation, a little bit of consolidation here, looking to break to continue this push to the upside. So let's see. That's the initial target as we enter long. Gold. So gold in this time frame making equal higher highs, higher lows. We are in an uptrend as we see here. Let's just clone this particular candle and make our channel. So we have our channel. So we're waiting. We can either wait for this candle to penetrate our lower band, our lower support level or trend line, and if it does fluctuate and crosses below this, we could come in and look for a short scalping trade to the downside, targeting that lower fractal. But if the market happens to recuperate, fluctuate, and closes above our upper trend line, the same will happen. As it closes above it, enter the next candle long in targeting that psychological value of 3,900. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. Let's take a look at other assets. Silver, again, profit taking is, market don't just move to the upside, but overall trajectories to the upside. Let's see where the VWAP will populate for this asset, and see if we can find some opportunities to enter the market, do some trading here, but it's not taking some time to populate the VWAP. Let's see. Actually, there you go. So, okay, so we're still outside of the VWAP. Actually, looking for this to be a reversal soon. Yeah. So this level right here, 47.85-ish. Let's see if the market will come down towards that level, and from here reverse where we're sitting right now on the cursors. Okay, so it's hitting that. It did bounce off of it, but we need more of a pullback in this particular time frame. Let's see if it's doing okay. It's doing so. So it did. Next candle, will it push lower, or is it the moment that it's going to reverse? All right, so it is pushing lower. So let's see if it'll penetrate the lower VWAP band. Copper. All right, so it's retracing giving us basically a continuation of the move to the downside. So entering the market short intraday, short trades here, targeting 484. Bitcoin, sideways movement. Let's see if it, again, we need the dust to settle on the market as only it opens. So this is looking as the market has found a bottom here, a nice level of support, looking perhaps a move to the upside. Now the dollar index will have a lot to say about that if it does penetrate. All right, so we are here looking at a possible, what is looking a sell-off here on the pound. A dead cat bounce is what I'm seeing being built. So entering short, and that will be sustained as we see that the dollar index continues to just catch a bid. Now if the dollar index decides to just continue to push higher, then we'll see that sell-off on the currencies being more portrayed, being stronger. So it is catching a bid, it is fluctuating above the upper Bollinger Band. So chances are that it is making a parabolic movement to the upside, catching a bid here, the dollar index. So dollar pound is continuing to drop as speculated. Pound, the euro. Now here's a possible entry long, reversal long, as the market continues to fall. The market has come and visited this low. It once, twice, it rejected it. So chances for this asset to come down towards that is highly. And let's see if it'll actually even fluctuate lower and then find this level to be where it reverses. So here I'm looking for a reversal of the lower band. Let's take a look at the other assets. So Nasdaq is pushing lower, 25. After making all that time, all the new all times, it was expected profit taking to be taking place. So let's see if this level will be where the market find that support. And most likely now is getting ready to penetrate or to enter the VWAP. Let's see when it gets populated, how much lower is this market going to push? Has it found support here? I don't think so. I want to see where the VWAP will be, because chances are that it'll find support. All right, so it did penetrate. So let's see if it'll do an even deeper push towards this area that we have here. All right, that area looks to me that it will be the place where the Nasdaq will rebound off of if it does continue to penetrate. Let's take a look at the S&P. We just barely 10 minutes into the trading session. This was expected. Like I said earlier, I would expect a little bit of a sell-off, to obviously profit taking to be taking place, and then just repositioning the traders repositioning themselves, and then making that attempt at all new all-time highs. At least we have started the month with new all-time highs. All right, so look at these ranges with the Dow. So we have this swing low 46.665 and the penetration of our first level of resistance. So the market is looking to revisit a 47,000 marker. Let's see how it'll do throughout the day, but overall being long the market. Okay, crude oil again looking to find a resistance around the 6160. So, Nat Gas making a just swing low here. So we did break the low end of our trend line in gold. So that was that scenario. Enter short. Alright, so 38.80 seems to be where the market is finding that those buyers bouncing off the upper band of the VWAP. So can we speculate that the market will continue to push higher? And obviously the dollar index has a lot to say about that because it could put pressure on it. But as far as silver goes, continue to push lower. First level of support is around here where I'm looking at 47.52-ish, and see if it'll be able to sustain itself above the VWAP. And if it does penetrate the VWAP, more of a confirmation of perhaps a reversal long of the VWAP. Copper just making another lower leg, profit taking. This is profit taking right here. Then we have here Bitcoin again pushing to the upside, and their currencies are dropping. Oh, look at the pound. That orange must be cashing a strong bid, and it is. It is. All right. Deeper penetration of the Nasdaq and indices. I mean, this was expected. Just it retraced a whole lot on this particular opening. So this is a buying the dip scenario here. We're getting ready for a entry long in the market. Reversal of the lower band on the S&P. So what do I want? I'm looking for this market to okay, so it's coming down to the it's penetrated. It's a strong momentum here. So they penetrate the VWAP. Let's see if this candle closes above the lower band, and then but we still basically all right, so it's recovering. Let's see. Wide range, quite a wide range on the Dow. Ooh, parabolic movement to the upside on crude oil. So some buyers are obviously hopping into this rally. Nat Gas is actually giving some of those profits back. Gold. Let's see, 38.75 will be actually this level's 38.80 is a psychological value, and it kind of penetrated the upper band. So let's see if it'll still continue to push lower, or is that it? Okay, so we see here a little doji reversal. Is the market going to reverse this strong move to the downside? Well, as far as the dollar index continues to push higher, I don't think so. Oh, wait, it might be. So look at that. Reversal of the VWAP of the upper band. Can that be sustained? Take a look at silver, continue to push lower. 1452 is where I was speculating to find some support. It did rebound off of that, but is it enough? Is it enough for us to absorb all of the sellers and just begin changing that direction to the upside? It seems to be in this time frame. Copper. Okay, so copper doing a reversal also. Bitcoin is the one that's still being bullish. The euro. Okay. Alright, so it's continued to push lower to 25,000 psychological support for the Nasdaq. Let's see if that will be the case. Hey, lower band. It's a reversal. Are we getting ready to? Okay, so here, this is what I wanted to see. So we still have 3 minutes left on this candle. So next candle, can we come in and enter the market here? And this candle, next candle, this is gonna be obviously a confirmation for me to enter long if this candle closes above the lower band. The next one opens where it closes, or with a little bit of a gap up. So looking to enter the market long for the Nasdaq. The S&P is making a stronger recovery than the Nasdaq. So let's see where it will generate our indicator. It's taking some time though. Let's see what will happen today. Alright, so Dow getting ready for making another push to the upside. Crude oil pushing lower. Ooh, Nat Gas. Gold. It is trying to sustain itself around that above 38.80. Let's see if this will penetrate that level. Ooh, silver has so look at this. You see this level 1452 seems to be the one that the level where it finds support, or is it gonna penetrate it? Copper, Bitcoin, the euro continues to push lower. Pound, dollar index seems to be recuperating. Okay, let's see Nasdaq. What is Nasdaq is doing? We're waiting for Nasdaq. Let's see when it populates, when the charts populate. Alright, so let's see how much more of a push over is doing. So it's gonna continue. 25,000 is now gonna be that psychological level of support for the Nasdaq. Let's see. I think it's coming towards it. Yeah. So it didn't really do a reversal. It just continued to push lower and continue to pushing lower. I mean, it did do, wow. So pushing lower, pushing lower, pushing lower. 25. So this is the first all-time high that it had made before. Alright, so it fluctuated back below it again. So it's coming up to a 25,000 psychological level of support. Let's see if that will be the case. Alright, take a look at the S&P and see So in this time frame, we didn't find any possible entries to the market. That is the one that's showing us more of a momentum to the upside, looking to hit that 47,000 marker. Crude oil. Let's see if they have made a ceiling here at around 61.80. All right, then we have here Nat Gas, gold. So it broke that 38.80 psychological level of support. And let's see if it'll do a reversal of the VWAP, if it does continue to push lower. And then we have here silver, continuing to just push lower. Copper also making another, I believe it's going to make another lower leg. Bitcoin 120, and the euro is going to hit our first level of support, and the pound also, because dollar index seems to be just catching a strong bid here. Dollar index continue to push higher. Wow. Okay, take a look at Nasdaq again for the last run. Still got 3 minutes here, 2 minutes and 50 cents on this. So let's see if you'll find that momentum. All right, crude oil pushing higher. Let's see if we find some resistance here at the VWAP, and then reverse. Take a look at Nat Gas. It's inside the VWAP. Gold. So pushing lower. Let's see. It rejected the VWAP. So is it getting ready to reverse this move lower? Let's see what will happen in gold. Let's take a look at silver real quick. So silver penetrated the crossover the VWAP. Copper possible. I think this is gonna make another lower leg. Bitcoin is outside, continue to push higher. All right, so the euro did violate a level of support, penetrated, and then rebounded off of it. Let's see if that's if a floor for it or not. Dollar index is the one that is putting pressure on those indices. We're seeing that the Nasdaq is fluctuating to the upside now. So it's in recovery mode. Let's see if it does happen to close above the lower band. I'm looking to enter the market long. So let's see. Let's wait on this candle, and I'm gonna get ready. So let's see, 45 seconds left. Let's see if in this time frame we are able to see that the market will closes inside the VWAP. I'll enter market long. Let's see if it does closes inside, or if it closes below it. I think it'll just do a sideways, just consolidation around that level. It's just and start trading sideways. But let's see. It seems to be catching a momentum here to the upside. RSI did poke itself below into the oversold territory, and it's now is coming back into its range. So let's see. Okay, so it did close. So I'm gonna open my position here. I'm gonna target that VWAP, and then the my stop is gonna be basically this double bottom here that was made on those candles. So let's see. I could be wrong, but I'm speculating that the market will continue to push higher. It could drop and just take me out. but the win reward ratio is 183, so that's not bad. Let's see what will happen, because it could just stay here and just start trading sideways. But let's see if I'll get stopped out or the market will reverse. Oh, and I got stopped out. Alright, so this is a no-go. Alrighty, guys, that will be it for me today. The market it did open up with the momentum to the downside. So is that gonna be the direction of the market in itself to move to the downside? Let's see if that's the case. But we do have the Dow pushing higher. So let's see if these two guys will just recover and just close higher today. That's it for me today. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.